Warning, I will be going down the rabbit hole in this video. If you don't want to go down the rabbit hole, then skip this video. In this video, I wanted to go over the Mermaids in Long Beach. I know it's hard to believe, man, but understand I'm not a regular person. I'm a Van Helsing. I had to see the spiritual realm. Y'all are about to start seeing it too. Y'all starting to see some of it. I'm telling you, you're going to start seeing it. Now, back in the days, this was about the mid 2000s. I was homeless. I was up in Lincoln Park, downtown Long Beach, and I was selling weed in the park. I was also homeless inside the park. And there was this one guy in the park. His name was Tommy Lee. And he knew karate. He was like a 3rd-degree black belt. And he used to climb up the walls. And he used to do all types of Spider-Man stuff. There was rumors that he done beat 3 dudes. You hear what I'm saying? Beat them all up and all of this stuff. Tommy Lee name rang bells, even in the LA County jail. Tommy Lee was a kung fu master. You hear what I'm saying? And inside the park, it was this other girl. I'm not going to say her name, but nobody knew her race. She was black, Mexican, Brazil. She knew a lot of different languages. She looked at like a person from an island. She had long, wavy, beautiful hair, high cheekbones. She was short, but it was something about her. She looked at like, kind of like she had male and female features, but she was 100% female though. But she had like harder features. She also had big shoulders. I remember one time we was talking and she said that she was on a swim team. And I was like, yeah. She was like, yeah, man, you don't see my big shoulders? And then I looked and she had these big shoulders, right? They was like extremely big for a woman. And for the most part, she was attractive. Out of all of the people in the park, she was the most attractive, exotic one. She had this boyfriend and he always was in like a trance, like a person who's on tranquilizers or something. He was always asleep in the corner of the park, or when he was walking, he was like sleepwalking. It was always weird. I figured out what that was a little later, but another thing about her is one day she had her shoes off and her toes was all together. Like, you know how like a regular person toes in the middle it be space, right? Well, where it was supposed to be space, it was like skin, like not like skin like a fish or nothing. I mean like a frog or nothing, a duck, like web, not like that. Like like uh like callus, like, and I was looking at him like, what the hell? And then she like hit him and stuff like that, right? But that was always weird to me. And I remember one day I asked her what race she was, and she said she was every race, right? And she said you could just pick one. Like I said, you black? She said, yeah, I'm black. I said, but you speak Spanish better than Mexican. She said, then I'm Mexican. Then it was like real weird, right? So one day, Tommy Lee, now back to Tommy Lee, right? One day, Tommy Lee comes to the park and he got some money. Somehow he get a lot of money. By the way, Tommy Lee was on crack, right? So Tommy Lee get a lot of money. and he gets this girl, this one exotic girl, right? And they leave. I guess they go get a room or whatever. And then Tommy Lee come back and he never was the same. He was like totally, his mind was gone. So around the park that day, so let's say he came on Friday and he got her, and then he came back Saturday evening and he was like totally gone and he wasn't talking to nobody. He literally climbed climbed up this damn building, this little one-story tool shed thing, and just sat up there like Spider-Man, right, for hours, right? And people was like, he went to the room with this girl and he seen something, right? For real. They said that he seen something, so he eventually left the park, and then the park, you know what I'm saying, started to transform different people. And here come Mason Man, right? Here comes Mason Man. So me and Mason Man talking one day, and some months went by. The Tommy Lee thing was about probably like 7 months ago, and now I'm talking to Mason Man, and then old girl walked by, and he shook his head, and I was like, "Well, what's up with her?" And he was like, "It'll come out if you ever really need to know, I'll tell you." And then I'm like, "Nah, well, what happened?" Because then I start telling him about Tommy Lee. And then he was like, "Oh, I already know about Tommy Lee. She a mermaid." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, when Tommy Lee went to the room that night, she was transforming almost. He seen scales and stuff." I mean, I couldn't believe it. I understand if you sitting up there like, what the hell? It's a mermaid. No, man. Look, as I'm telling you now, not only do I believe it, I know it to be true. And this wasn't the first one. Look, um, then I was like, is that's why her boyfriend like that? And before I could finish, she was like, "Yup, he's up in the trance." She put him up in the trance, like she got his energy and stuff, because mermaids turn guys into they slaves and stuff like that. Some of them take them down in the water and put the bubble on their head, like Sandy up in up in SpongeBob. You know what I'm saying? That's what my daughter call it when we talk about mermaids and stuff. But but that's more like in Hades, Africa, different places like that. It still could happen in places like Long Beach, but for the most part, it don't have to happen. You don't have to be, they don't have to be in the water, take you in the water and make you a slave. You could be a slave in Long Beach. You hear what I'm saying? Walking around like this guy in the trans. You hear what I'm saying? So I'm like, wow, you telling the truth. Well, I knew he was telling the truth because he wasn't the type of guy that didn't tell the damn truth. You hear what I'm saying? So I accepted that. And he said that when everything come to light, it's just gonna be regular to me. I'm gonna be like, oh, that's a mermaid, that's a mermaid, that's a werewolf, that's a vampire. And it's true. Years later, I had to accept that everybody you see ain't no damn human, man. This is why semen retention was recommended. Hey, man, you're gonna have to practice semen retention because it's gonna open up these spiritual eyes and give you this discernment. You hear what I'm saying? So I'm like, wow, you feel me? This is a trip. This is why the toes was like that. I asked him about the toes. He was like, yeah, if they don't get back into the water, they don't just die. Some of them wasn't even born in the water. Some of them was born on land because they hybrids. They parents have DNA. It's a DNA thing. A lot of them are born in the water and come on land, and they have a certain amount of time to be on land before they transform. Then it's some of them that's born in the hospital, and they have the DNA up in them. Like they great grandparents is probably from Hades and had relations with mermaids, and then this is how they got up in a bloodline. He said that she was more one of those. That's why the calluses and stuff like that, but she still had the traits of them. Okay, and then later on that night, I mean, I'm so shocked that later on that night, I call up one of my homies, and he don't have anything to do any of this stuff. He was actually my hustle and rap buddy. We used to rap and hustle, so we, do different things. And then we talking, not even about this, but we talking, and then this came up. I'm like, hey man, let me tell you about what this dude told me and stuff like that. So I'm telling him, and he said, hey, let me go outside. Let me tell you something, because he's married, right? And he was scared to tell me around his wife. He was like, hey man, me and my brother, we went to Vegas a couple of years ago. And these two females, they approached him and they bought him drinks and everything was all good. And they invited him and his brother up top to the jacuzzi and all of that. They had a room up in there. And then he said that the girls came out, they had on bikinis and all of that. Him and his brother, they up in there drinking, chilling, smoking up in the jacuzzi. The girls is up in there. Everything is going good. And then one of the girls turned her back to like get something. And then he seen scales coming all the way down her back, and they came in and out like a glitch. And then he was like, oh man, like he started tripping. And then he said that his brother was like, what's wrong with you? And he just was like, I gotta go. And his brother was tripping. His brother was mad because he didn't see it. And he just knew that he just had to get up out of there. He said that it was like, I'm like, explain, how does she look? He was like, man, her spine started to get like rigid, and it was like scales and stuff. And it was like greenish gray, like a darkish greenish gray. And it'd stay for like 3 seconds, and then it'd fade away, and then it'd come back in like she was trying to turn. And I was like, oh man, mermaids. But is it even mermaids in Vegas? And come to find out, yeah, it is mermaids in Vegas. That's why a lot of lustful acts be happening in jacuzzis and stuff like that, man. Skinny dipping and all of that type of stuff. That's not godly. Where do you think that come from? You hear what I'm saying? So now I'm believing in mermaids. Mason man tell me the whole Tommy Lee thing. And the homie, man, he tell me, and he wasn't even the type of guy that even really talk about stuff like this. So I knew that he was telling the truth, because he don't even go down a rabbit hole. But that night, it's like he was holding that on his chest for years. So I believe in mermaids, but I never witnessed the power of them or anything like that until I went to the Gold's Gym and started battling these witches, man. I remember I was in there for about a month. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the most beautiful woman came in the gym, man. Again, I don't know her race. A lot of them is like that. You don't know their race. They look like they could be like mulatto, Mexican, black, like it's hard to explain. The closest that I could say, the closest is, remember the basketball player Rick Fox from the Lakers? Like, he could pass for Arab, he could pass for black and white, he could pass for just black. You feel what I'm saying? Like these type of people that could be, you really don't know their race. She was one of those, man. She had long hair. It was straight though. It was straight. It was brownish. She looked like a Victoria model, a Victoria's Secret model, like the waist, the small waist, and the smooth skin, man. And she used to wear the smallest of things. She was bomb, man. But it's one problem with her. She stunk, man. She stunk like garlic, olive oil, and fish fat. She smelled like greasy, oily fish. Listen to me. When I say she stunk so bad that when I opened up the door to the gym, I knew she was there. I could smell her stinking self. And although she stunk so bad. Although she stunk, I fell in love with that girl, man. Without saying anything to her, we made eye contact one time, and that was it. At this time of my life, I'm a grown man. I got money and everything. I got a family. You hear what I'm saying? I got a family. I got my business going. And I ain't no sucker for love, man. I already got a nice body, and and I'm I'm already popular, so I'm not head over heels type of guy. But yet I am, for the first time in my life, man. I thought about this girl 24 hours a day. I will wake up in the morning and the first thing on my mind will be her. Throughout the day, all throughout the day. I'm talking about every damn second of the day, man. It used to be so bad that I used to have to, man, pray to not think about her. I used to think about her like a crackhead think about crack, man. And I ain't never said a word to her. At this time, Mason Man disappeared somewhere. And I really don't even care because she's on my mind so much, it feels good to think about her. And I remember one day I went up and I approached her and I was like, hey, how you doing? And all of this. And when she opened up her mouth, man, she couldn't talk. She talked like, you understand what I'm saying? Like it was really odd, man. It was really odd. It was like, it was just odd. But one day I'm on a treadmill and I'm looking at her like a mug, drooling, like always. You hear what I'm saying? And then this bailiff. If anybody ever been to the Long Beach Police Department, the Long Beach Court, if you ever been to Long Beach Court, then you would know that there's this 6'5" African. She got short, she got waves, she got like a fade. 6'5" African, looked just like Grace Jones. She worked there. She's the bailiff, right? For the Long Beach courthouse. She worked out at our gym, right? At the Go's gym. And she was married to this white bailiff from another department in the Long Beach court, right? I didn't know. I thought she liked the females and stuff, but come to find out, she was married, right, to a guy. And she got my attention one day, and I looked at her, and as soon as she looked at me, she looked at old girl and then looked back at me and shook her head and put her head down like, no, like no. And I was like, oh, that was like a cold sign, right? So now Mason Man popped back up. So I'm like, hey, Mason Man, this girl and all this. And he was like, oh, her? Oh, she a mermaid. She from the water. That's why she smell like that and all of that, because their diet and all of that. The ones that's straight from the water, they can't talk as good. That's why the Little Mermaid, Ariel, she had to lose her voice to get legs. This is really real. So I'm like, wow, this is real. I told y'all I'm going down a damn rabbit hole, man. And God is my witness on every single thing that I say. God is my witness. Listen, he was explaining like, oh yeah, this is the trance that they put the guys under. I was getting sucked into that trance. I was going to go to the water world. You hear what I'm saying? She was going to drive me there to the water world, and I would have did it too. Man, I was so damn in love with that damn girl. Listen, she's so fine. I still think about her to this day. I'm not feeling like how I felt about her back then, because it's over with. They only have a certain amount of time to do what they're going to do. Then they have to go on to another mission. That's with all of the demons and all of this. But I still think about her to this day sometimes. When I knew 100% that she was a mermaid, is one day it was a storm. I lived right down the street. I stayed on 4th and Chestnut, and the gym was on 4th and Pine. So it was like right down the street, right? But it was storming out, man. And it was raining and it was cold. It was one of them. But at this time, I'm so damn addicted to working out, man, that I put on a big coat, some sweats and all of that. And I run to the gym, right? And I see her walking down the damn street. And she got on them same little itty bitty, the little sports bra and the little bitty, the things that the females be doing the marathons in, the little bitty, not thongs, almost thongs. And I'm like, oh, hell no, man. She is a damn mermaid, man. Nobody in their right damn mind could even think about coming out here like that. And then I thought about it like, of course, they live in the water, they live in the cold. They don't be wearing clothes like that. And if they did wear clothes, which some of them do wear certain clothes, it is the most skimpiest of all of the things like that. And I was like, wow, I really seen her for who she was. After that, after I seen her like that, I didn't. It was like 2 days later. I didn't see her no more. When you figure them out, they could feel it. They could feel it. I had a job offer that I was gonna go work on, but I didn't because I felt that I wasn't gonna be able to look at her no more. You see, I understand what the guys who's under the trance they be feeling. God allowed me to feel that, but get up out of it. Yeah, it's stories of this up in places like Hades, man. Any type of beach community like that, especially if it's popular, San Francisco, San Diego, um, Long Beach, especially places like Long Beach, Venice Beach. It's a gang of mermaids on Venice Beach, Santa Monica. And I'm not talking about people that's swimming around with tails. Like I said, some of them got them. They can transform, but you will always be able to spot them because They have a very severe speech impediment, high pitched, like talk out they nose type sound, and they stink. They stink real bad. They stink of a ocean type, oyster clam juice type stuff. You feel what I'm saying? And then there's some that is extremely like human. They can live on land and stuff. They still like swimming and being in stuff like jacuzzis, sleeping on things like water beds. Remember water beds? Water beds was really for them. Remember, water beds was connected with sexual, man. Water beds was more of a sexual thing. And there was a lot of people that died in water beds or got third-degree burns. Because remember, you used to have to put the damn chemicals in the water bed so that the water won't spoil and all of that. You feel me? And then people will be smoking a cigarette, and then that cigarette cherry it'll fall and bust that bed, and then they fall to the bottom, and all that chemical, they'd just be up in the pool of fire, man. It happened a gang of times up in the 80s and the early 90s, messing with them damn water beds, man. But water beds was for the mermaids, man. This is the stuff they ain't gonna tell you. This is the stuff that I can't even tell everybody, man. Because I know you sitting up here like, man, he talking about mermaids and stuff like that. Have I ever seen a mermaid with a tail inside inside the water and all that? Nah, I never seen that. But when you live in these places, like I said, these beach communities, it be weird stuff going on, man, right in front of you, but it's hidden. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll be back at you with another video. Peace.